You're in charge.
Yeah. Well, I think what we should do is we should introduce our guest. We have a wonderful guest today, and his name is Fred Hernandez. Fred is a retired journalist. He was an editor for the Monterey Peninsula Herald for 21 years. Before that, he was an editor for the San Francisco Examiner. Now he is a freelance writer, and I met him 10 years ago, no, probably more than that, I guess 14 years ago, at the turn of the century. We were both involved in First Night Monterey, and we both were up on stage for the finale and the countdown as 1999 turned into 2000. Cool. And great human being. I've worked with him at the West End celebration as well. Gives a lot of time to the community, and he's involved with a particular effort now to that involves Pebble Beach Corporation. They're going to their plans are to create 24 high-density housing, affordable. I'll put my quote, affordable housing, with 53 parking spaces and storage. And in order to do this, they're going to be cutting down more than 700 trees in one of the last remaining Monterey pine forests. So with that introduction, I'd like to bring on Mr. Fred Hernandez. Fred, hey, good morning to you.
Good morning. Nice to see you.
Good to see you, too. And thanks for coming in this morning. And tell us a little bit about what's going on with this Pebble Beach development plan here.
Well, to begin with, I live in the Del Monte Park area, which is roughly 6 blocks by 4 blocks that jut out into the Del Monte Forest. And down the bottom of our street is a 6-acre parcel of forest. And about 7 months ago, I noticed that there were red fluorescent spray dots on trees, a lot of trees. And I counted about 100 trees. And that only means one thing: they're going to cut them down. Well, I was flabbergasted. And I happened to be at a meeting where Supervisor Jane Parker, and Dave Potter were. And I told her about the 100 trees are going to be cut down, and she was aghast. And she said, "Talk to Dave Potter, that's his area." So I talked to Dave, and Dave said, "Oh yeah, inclusionary housing." Well, there was a meeting a couple of weeks ago at the Pebble Beach Community Service District. By the way, there's another meeting today at 3 o'clock, same place. And they're explaining this to us. Now, we have some problems. For one thing, they're having these 24 inclusionary housing, 6 of them low income, 7 of them, and 11 of them, we don't know.
The sky's the limit.
Now, why haven't I seen this in the paper? Or
there was a story in the Herald and in the Pine Cone. And
recently, or when it started?
3 weeks ago, when this meeting took place. And unfortunately, we were blindsided by the fact that this was going to be affordable housing and apartments. We expected homes. And so people started talking at the meeting, well, we don't want low-income people in roaming our neighborhood. And that came off all wrong. It basically, we were cast as NIMBYs, not in my backyard. Where in reality, it's Pebble Beach. This is the most remote area they could find, away from any Pebble Beach buildings, so they can build this. And they don't have the zoning. It's zoned medium density, 4 houses per acre. Great, but this is 24 rental units in a 2.6 acre parcel, which is huge density. Doesn't fit at all with our communities, which are right next door. They don't have an environmental impact report. How is that? Okay. How is that possible? But yet they're planning to build this. We suspect that Dave Potter, this is his baby. He wants inclusionary housing someplace.
Fred, what does inclusionary housing mean?
It means low income housing, and they expect some of their employees to live there. We don't know what the rates are going to be, but 11 of the units are supposedly for Pebble Beach employees.
Earmarked for...
Yeah, so they can come to Pebble Pacific Grove schools and shop there. Well, naturally, it's not as close as it seems because they're going to have to get in their cars, go through the gates, and go out and go to the schools and go to the shopping and then come back through the gates. But then at this meeting, we found out they were going to knock down 719 trees.
Wow.
Enormous. And that's where our neighborhood got together. We actually owe Pebble Beach a debt of gratitude because we wouldn't have organized otherwise. And now we have a petition going. We have a website. We're getting together because we want to fight this. They're building this. By the way, they do claim, Pebble Beach does, that this area has never been called a preservation area. Well, I beg to differ. I have this sign that was on that property some years back.
Fred collects signs,
Yes.
by the way.
Yes, it's part of my private collection, and it's in my backyard. And
not in my backyard.
No, that's right. That's exactly right. And it was falling down, and my wife saw it. And I said, "Well, let's take it. It's obviously not." Well, what they were doing is bragging that this 6-acre parcel of Monterey pines and oaks was going to be preserved for whatever plan they had at the time. It might have been Spanish Bay. Mm-hmm. And so this was their preservation area. It was sacred. Well, apparently it's not sacred anymore.
You know, Fred, I think this earth is sacred, and you know, once they start building and developing like that, you can't get it back.
That's right.
I think the old song that Sonny and Cher used, or somebody used on their DVD, was "They paved paradise and put up a parking lot."
Joni Mitchell.
And thank you very much. He's older than I am, but I was a kid. My mom and dad had it on in the car, but it's true. You know, once they go forward with things like this, there's no turning back.
No.
You know, it's very difficult. And you know, my question is who benefits from this? Who? I think you had a question.
Well, Pebble Beach owns it, right?
Pebble Beach owns it,
Pebble
right?
Beach owns the property. And when I first called them, the planning department at Pebble Beach, they basically told me it's their private property and it's none of my business. And I said, well, that's interesting. Because I live 5 doors from that property. And it is certainly going to affect me because they're destroying a forest that we use for recreation, for walking our dogs, for jogging, for watching birds.
That's one of the last remaining Monterey pine forests, too, which is a natural indigenous tree that we have only here, and we have only a limited number left.
And they're going to be gone.
Yeah.
They're going to be gone. Now, my answer, I've been thinking about this for a while. Yes, they own the land. I don't own the land. But I don't own the air either. But if someone was polluting the air, I would be fighting them. I don't own the ocean. But if someone is polluting the ocean, I would be fighting them. So I think they're destroying a forest, and it affects me because we're gonna lose, and we're gonna have this immense population for us, very close to us, and there's not going to be adequate parking. Thanksgiving dinner, if say 4, 6, 7 families decide to have Thanksgiving dinner, there's no parking. There's not enough parking. So where are they going to park? They can't park on Congress Road, heaven forbid. So they're going to park on our streets. And our streets are narrow, and a fire engine has trouble turning around. So they're going to clog up our streets. We're not happy. The thing that bothers us is that there are other places they can build this. One of them is on the old Capitol site, which Pebble Beach has promised to turn over to the county if they allow them to build this thing. Okay. And we're a little suspicious of that.
You think there could be an old boys type of thing going on here, Fred?
It's very, 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 very possible. And there's
investigative journalism.
And there's also some memorandum of understanding that we don't know what it is. And I suspect that if and when they develop the old Capitol site, which is 135 acres just across from the shopping center, the Del Monte Shopping Center. Pebble Beach will have a piece of the action. I don't know how, but that's what they're talking about.
Fred, I want to reiterate and have you reiterate the fact that there is a meeting this afternoon at 3 p.m. That's today, October 3rd, 3 p.m. at in Pebble Beach at the Pebble Beach Community Services Department,
on Lopez Road.
Yeah, Lopez and Forest Lake Road. And if you know Pebble Beach at all, you go in on Forest Lodge Road and you go up, and Lopez and Forest Lake come off of each other, and there's a firehouse there. It's easy to find. 3 p.m. if you want to have your voice heard, no matter where it falls, whether you want development or you're against development or
and just your presence as well is probably
always.
Yes, we welcome people to come. We expect a full house. The last meeting several weeks ago, there was about 75 people. We only had 3 days' notice, and also not only from Pacific Grove, but also from Pebble Beach.
Right.
People who had concerns.
Well, I don't think the residents of Pebble Beach benefit by this either.
No,
I don't. I think the only one who benefits by I wasn't going to take a political stand here. I think the only ones who benefit by it are the Pebble Beach Corporation, and they have people think, well, how can we make some more money? Well, here's a way. Development. Take the forest area and put something in. And as far as I'm concerned, affordable housing is just a percentage, that you give so that you can build, say, less affordable housing or more expensive housing.
Yeah,
anyway.
and they have only 6 units are going to be low cost.
Oh my goodness.
That's just to get your foot in the
I don't know
door.
if the camera will pick this up.
No, not quite.
But you see, what I want to show you is this amphitheater. My street is Lawton. I live right here, 5 doors up.
Could you give us a street address if anybody wants to come by your house?
No, thank you. And you notice that it's curved. Originally, it was curved the other way, so that the noise pollution would be towards Pebble Beach. No, now they changed it and moved it so the semicircle is like a speaker impacting our neighborhood with sound pollution, light pollution, and one of the reasons we bought our homes is because we were near the forest.
Right.
And this devalues our property.
Is that, that's, yeah, I was going to ask
because
that. That is
if anybody sells, they have to say, by the way, they're building apartments right down the street, and
that neighborhood wasn't even in Pacific Grove before. It was county, it was country, and anybody who lived there, was moving into the country essentially.
Absolutely, that was there. We do want to offer 2 alternatives because this is not the only place that Pebble Beach could build. There are several places that come to mind. The first one is the old Capitol site, which is where it is, across from the shopping center. They own it. It's 135 acres. They could put in apartments there, no problem. And there is an empty lot at Sunset Drive, 17-mile drive. It's near a gate, and you'll remember there was a grocery store there. And, and they used to rent bicycles and stuff.
It was a gas station at one point.
That's right. Yeah. It's empty. Yeah. And it's owned by Pebble Beach. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with the corporation yard, which they also own? Right. These places.
So, what is their main motive? Why are they avoiding these other places? What do you?
We don't know.
Oh, we don't.
We only know what they're telling us, and they're telling us very little.
Well, Fred, I think the call to action is to come to the meeting today. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
And that's at 3 p.m. and it's at the Pebble Beach
Community
Services Building, and that's Forest Lake and Lopez and Pebble Beach.
And if someone's not able to attend today, what's another way they can get involved, or who would they contact?
Yeah, give us that website.
Well, you can call. You can website for us is Del Monte. Del
Monte Neighborhood Association.
Correct. DelMonteNeighborhood.org.
Yeah, DelMonteNeighborhood.org.
All right, great.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
Find out more.
So we want people to see this. They have the web polls.
Right.
Unfortunately, I went today just to see them, and somebody vandalized them over the night, and they're all down, which is
Oh,
a
okay.
shame.
Don't need that action.
Don't
right?
need that. That's not what we're about.
Straight.
We want to save the forest.
Yes.
It's not about the people there. We want our forest, their forest, but the forest we've been able to use forever.
And if you want to find out more between now and then, go to DelMonteNeighborhood.org and get all the information. Fred, thanks again.
Great.
We're going to have to conclude pretty quick here, Vicki.